Can't go a full podcast without diving a little bit into the San Francisco 49ers. Let's talk offseason. San Francisco 49ers. There's going to be a lot of questions. How do you revamp this team? Obviously, you got to get healthy. But one of the questions is if you are John Lynch, do you resign Juwan Jennings, or do you maybe use that money elsewhere? Maybe reinforce the O-line with a guy like Tyler Linderbaum from the Baltimore Ravens. What direction do you think the 49ers should go this offseason?
I think you start building an offensive line that can move people. And sure, Juwan Jennings embodies everything you want for the San Francisco 49ers. That offense, what Kyle Shanahan preaches, he's a guy that works hard. He does things the right way. But can you find another is the question. What does he get on the open market? And I think you allow him to explore that. I think you keep the phone lines open. I think you keep communication, but I don't think you're the first. I think you let him walk out of the building and let him see what he can get. Now, I think you try to match it if it's fair. If you think, hey, man, that's a low enough number that we could stay in the fight and hope that you didn't burn the bridge by letting him walk. But I think getting a guy like Tyler Linderbaum, is a great pickup. But I also have concerns about why Baltimore let him walk. You got to do your due diligence and figure out why would they let a 25-year-old three-time Pro Bowler and former first-round pick get out the building, because rarely are those guys available. And for that reason, they're dependable, they're durable, they're what you expect them to be, and you're going to be paying a high price tag. With the injury history of the San Francisco 49ers, you got to make sure you open every door and peek under every mat and peek into every corner to make sure this guy is going to make it through the football season every single year, if you're going to pay him that much money because of just the history that you've had. But I think that is a move you make. I think offensive and defensive line is where championships are won. I think you can find receivers, and maybe they use Mac Jones to help them find their number one receiver in some way. Maybe there's a lot of quarterback needy teams, and we already mentioned the Minnesota Vikings, but the New York Jets. Like, hey, is Wilson available? Like, can we get a Mac Jones and a pick for Wilson? Like, is Garrett Wilson available? That's the conversation you're going to have to ask. And they've been sellers before. I mean, they got rid of Quinnen Williams, they get rid of Sauce Gardner. So that's a conversation that you're going to have. And an offensive coordinator going to the Jets is going to want some security. Hey, I need an established quarterback. I think Kevin O'Connell was going to be the first call. That, hey, is he available? Because I know he could come in here and do the job. All right, he could be our quarterback that gets us through to make sure we know we have stability and we know our all-pro receivers happy. What are you willing to give for him? I don't think you give Justin Jefferson, but can you give Addison? Addison has some off-the-field issues. The San Francisco 49ers, I don't know the answers to those questions, but I think those are the things that you're going to have to explore. But I think solidifying the offensive line, finding a pass rusher, finding two, you can never have enough of them, is priority over wide receiver. I know they need to get faster. They need to get more talented. They need more speed and all that good stuff. But if you can't block for the $50 million quarterback, then none of it really matters. I think if Schwartz goes to another team, a contender who's out of a D coordinator right now, I think he has a head coach job within the next 2 years. And by contender, I'm thinking of the San Francisco 49ers. And I would imagine Kyle Shanahan is on the phone right now. Whatever you need. Hey, you don't want to be sitting in the AFC North in the freezing cold in November? Then come over here to the San Francisco 49ers. You don't want to have your team treat you like you don't deserve to be treated, treat you like an afterthought, then come over here to the San Francisco 49ers. I know Kyle Shanahan is going to make that call. He has a tremendous amount of respect. And after losing Robert Saleh to a head coaching job and showing a pipeline for his D coordinators to be elevated to head coaching job. You talk about DeMeco Ryan. You talk about Robert Saleh twice. And even my guy, Jeff Hafley, who was on the staff in 2018, is now a head coach right now for the Miami Dolphins. So there's so much there. If Jim Schwartz ever wants to coach in and be a head coach again. Now, sure, he has to come in and understand and figure it out. What works for his family, what works for his. Do their personalities work? But and all that to say, does Cleveland even let him out? It's an ugly situation. Like, do you keep a coach who doesn't want to be there? Like, are you going to force him? Because he said, hey, if they don't give me the head coaching job, I'm out. And once you say that, and some guys are stubborn to that point, like, he feels disrespected. And do you want a guy in there that's sitting there feeling that way in that building? Like, feeling like he's been undercut, like he's been undersold, like he's been underappreciated? I don't think you do. And to hire somebody within the division is probably another slap in the face for him. That's a guy, that's an offensive coordinator he's been game planning against for years. Like, that's almost a rival. And you hire a rival above me, over me, like, I'm not working with that guy. And that's what it seems like he's saying. And so I don't like this. I really don't like this for him. I don't like, and I don't know if they're going to let him out. And that's going to create another issue for the offseason. Like, well, I'm sure we're going to talk about Shedeur. We got to talk about their whole quarterback situation. Now Shedor's named to the Pro Bowl. So now you got a Pro Bowl quarterback, Pro Bowl rookie quarterback returning for Todd Monken. And you can't say it's going to be a quarterback competition, can you? With Dylan Gabriel and the Pro Bowler Shedeur Sanders, is that going to be a quarterback competition? I doubt it. What is Deshaun Watson going to do? That's what Todd Monken's walking into. Like, Deshaun Watson's making a lot of money, and he's going to be healthy. He's going to be a probably healthy scratch every week. Or do you think he can play? What happens if Deshaun Watson goes into practice and he's healthy and he starts to play like the old Deshaun Watson? And you got him for $50 million guaranteed, and you can't get rid of him. Then what? Then what do you do? Those are the conversations that are going to be had. But it just seems like this decision injects dysfunction into the Browns. It injects dysfunction that wasn't necessarily there. They've been so focused on outside candidates, they did not appreciate Jim Schwartz, and it seems like he feels hurt by that. And we'll see if they can repair that relationship. I don't think they can.